Radio. Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It is Coffee Ann here on ON, AM, and FM. A little later than usual, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. And this is Joe Callahan. Dave Richards is here. Good morning to you there, Dave.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Romeo. Lovely day.
Romeo Berthy was here. Good morning to you, Romeo.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Dave.
Nice to have you all with us this morning as well. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240. Well, no Patriots to talk about, Romeo.
No.
Good.
They did not play yesterday, but there's still plenty of football to talk about. No.
Yeah.
I was telling Romeo, one of the most entertaining games I've seen in a long time was played yesterday between the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills. They went into overtime with Minnesota winning 33-30, with Buffalo losing at one point 27-10 to come roaring back and take the lead. And then Minnesota tying it up with seconds to go to go into overtime. It was incredibly exciting. A lot of back and forth. Goal line stands, stuff like that. And then Josh Allen, the quarterback for Buffalo, made a unbelievably bad play to lose the game. He threw an interception, which sealed it for Minnesota. And the fans up there had to be so distraught because it looked like they were about to win.
Yep.
And, one mistake, and there it goes. And I was telling, and Dave knows about this, Romeo, but we had a very good game Friday night here on ON Radio between Davies and the Central Falls Co-op team in the pouring rain.
Pouring rain.
Down in Central Falls.
It was pouring rain way before they started the game, but
Yes.
they were committed to doing that game that night.
And they played it under the lights.
They very seldom cancel games.
Unless there's lightning.
A couple of, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, my son was playing, my grandson, rather, was playing at King Philip, and it was drizzling. So I called him, "Is the game?" He says, "Dad, are you kidding me?"
Come on, it's football.
This is football, yeah. And they played right in the mud.
And you could see the water splashing up when the kids fell and when they got tackled and things like that. But I was telling Dave, you try, watch the game, hold your umbrella, hold on to a piece of paper, write stuff down on wet pieces of paper, and still keep the game going along because there's no press box at the Maycomber Stadium in Central Falls.
I was going to ask you where that was.
We're just in the stands trying to keep everything from collapsing on us. and Dave kept us on the air, which was amazingly so. So we were very, very happy with that, and we were able to get the game in. The Maycomber Stadium is literally right by the Wyatt Detention Center. We kept turning around to see if we could see any of the prisoners looking out the windows.
Watching the game.
We could hear them. Could you hear them, Dave?
Yeah.
Every now and then you could hear them inside the prison. Not like not cheering.
Cheering? Yeah.
Just your general prison crowd noise.
Okay.
They would just you could just hear them yelling about whatever. So,
Okay. Were they outside?
Yeah, one of them would
No.
yell. One of them would yell, "Oh!" Someone else would say, "Hi-oh!"
is that what they say?
Yeah. Ohio.
No, we're because there's the prison, and then there's it's High Street, I believe, and then there's the field. So I don't know where they go outside. I don't think they can see anything if they go outside. It must be a courtyard or something.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
If they are allowed.
If you heard them,
outside.
it seems to me they were outside.
Well, it was dark.
Yeah.
So no, I don't
Yeah.
think they allow them outside. So you could just hear them inside the.
They must have been loud then.
They were loud inside there, but there was a decent crowd there.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was going to be anybody there. I kept waiting for people to show up, and they showed up like right at game time.
Wow.
And then that's when the drizzle started, and then the rain came pretty good. And then I was trying to be funny with Kevin doing the game, saying, "Watch this, Kevin. You know what? We hadn't had much wind, and within 5 minutes, and now the rain's going sideways."
Mother Nature heard you. She wanted to.
Well, I knew the
Yeah.
wind was coming, so
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I'm just waiting for the wind to arrive." And by the way, Central Falls won the game,
I was going to ask you that too.
26-22.
That sounds like it was a pretty
That was a
good
very good
game.
game.
Yeah.
Davies could have won the game. They ended up earlier in the game. They gave up an 85-yard pass for a touchdown. And my brother talked to the coach afterwards. He goes, "We don't know how we left that guy wide open." and they just did a little breakdown of the defense, and he was off to the races, and off he went, and that really sealed it for Central Falls. So we'll be hearing Central Falls again on the day before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
We'll have a game on the day before Thanksgiving. That'll be Lincoln versus Central Falls, and then Thanksgiving Day will be the Cumberland Woonsocket game. So we still have 2 more high school football games coming up for you, and that will be next week.
Next week.
Keeping in the sports, Romeo, we're supposed to hear the name of the new soccer team in Pawtucket today. Now, I got a call earlier today from our friend Marcel, who reminded me that he told me, and I do remember this, about 2 years ago when it was announced that the team was coming, they said they should call them the Bootleggers.
The Bootleggers.
I said, I like that name. That's a great name for a soccer team. They'll never do it.
That is good. I like that.
But you know, they haven't even hinted at it. So now Dave thinks it might go, and I don't think so.
I like the
What do you
name the Paw Sockers.
I love that idea.
It's a soccer, right? The Paw Sockers.
Yes.
The Paw Sockers. Yeah, I like that.
They will never do that either. They won't make
No
anything.
sense of humor, huh?
Oh, absolutely none.
Paw Sockers.
Get it? Paw socks?
Yeah, I do. Of course I get it.
Okay, so that will not happen. But I do because it's always something. For some reason, it's they try to be so hip or so European, so it's going to be something Real FC. If you look at every Major League Soccer team, not everyone, the Revolution's the
Real.
Revolution, that's in there somewhere,
Yeah.
and you got to put FC in there for whatever reason.
Well, let's see what happens.
Football club is
For
FC.
football club, right? So, but
Yeah.
you don't see that. No one calls. It's not the Boston Red Sox BC. It's not the.
Although
you know,
their
baseball
stadium
club.
has been around very close to that one.
But they do that for they do that in Europe for their football programs over there. So we'll see what the name is, and they're going to release what the logo is going to be and things like that. So
We'll see how your prediction comes out, both of you.
see, you can't.
I like both of them. to be
I do
honest with
too,
you.
but you can't
Yeah.
do bootleggers
Yeah.
because you've got to appeal
Yeah.
to the kids, and
Yeah.
you can't have you can't,
Yeah,
you
of
can't
course you
have
can't
someone stealing liquor
And
or
you
running
can't-
liquor up on a road. So
And you can't offend anyone either.
I don't know if bootleggers would offend anybody.
Not that particular one, but there'll be other names that could be offensive.
Well, that's true,
Yeah.
and you can't do that. So
With the
I don't know.
political correctness virus going around the country and the world, they really have to be careful.
So I want to ask Dave this question, which has got nothing to do with the soccer stadium, but watching I think it was on the Discovery Channel, Dave. Got me so far? Okay. On there's a show, and it's called. I don't know if it's something, but Moonshiners is in the title.
Yeah.
Okay, this is still an illegal activity.
Yep.
Yet you see them doing it. You see how they do it. You see how they distribute it, and they show who they're selling it to.
So you're wondering,
But yet they tell you what we're doing is illegal, and they're telling you at some point law enforcement is onto us, and they got to move. You can't keep this still in this part of the mountain because they're in Tennessee. We have to move it over here.
Or North Carolina.
Well, this one happened to be in Tennessee. So we got to move it. We got to clear land. They're out there with chainsaws, clearing land so they can set up, and we got to be near a water source. They show you how it's done. I'm like, but aren't they just, Dave? Aren't they just screaming out? This is
Arrest me.
they're filming their guilt,
yeah.
or is it all part of the show? And they've already got special dispensation, and they won't be prosecuted.
My understanding is that it's both, Joe.
Okay.
That they some of it is showbiz for you,
Okay.
the consumer. Mm-hmm. Because if you go out and you build a still, my understanding is by state law there, it's not illegal to own one. It's illegal to break the
Produce.
federal law.
Okay.
The federal law only says that it's illegal to sell it without a license. And they're selling it without a license.
So producing it's okay too.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
not okay, but that's not what you violate. That you don't violate. It's kind of like, if you're driving down Clinton Street and you go 30 miles an hour and nobody catches you, you didn't break the law.
Right.
That's a lot of baloney, but you did break the law. But if you filmed yourself going 30 miles an hour down Clinton Street, then it's problematic for them to catch you.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going by video stuff that's easily disproven in court, and they say, why would anybody video themselves? And they can be thrown out for self-incrimination, and it gets sticky.
All right.
So what you're talking about is what they say they are doing is illegal. What they take pictures of looks like what they say they are doing, but they always pull it back to the point where no one's going to convict them, and embellish it with other footage
I'm sure.
that makes it look like what they're doing, what they say they're doing, which is illegal, they're doing.
For what it's worth,
Okay.
that must be a very lucrative business
Oh,
for them to.
Oh, it's a
pack
way
up,
of life for
there's-
some folks in the hill country.
Sure,
There are people that third generation.
but they're making
doing this.
They still have to be making quite a
They are making money.
lot of money, even.
And they are.
I'm
They
sure.
go. And one
Yeah.
was complaining because
Yeah.
the liquor hadn't come in yet, and he goes, "I got customers to sell to, and I don't have any product."
Right.
big party
I don't know
coming
who.
up.
I don't know who they're selling it to, but they didn't actually show that part.
So, like with most,
Yeah.
just we could cast a broader net than that. With most of these reality shows, otherwise known as unscripted television shows,
Yeah.
which is also a lie because they're technically not scripted because the lines that the different people say isn't written down ahead of time. But they know what's going to happen, and they have an outline, and they know pretty much what they need to say to get the thing taken care of. Most of those are, they have the raw footage, and then they have a lot of it that's pre-staged afterwards to fill in for the stuff that they couldn't take photographs of. So there's an awful lot of that. There's the one that it's a very entertaining show, Airplane Repossession. Well, the first season they had a guy in there that went through all of the hoops, and you saw how he went through all of the hoops to repossess a plane that had to be repossessed. They defaulted on a loan and stuff like that. Now that's just fine, but it's a very long 1-hour show.
Mm-hmm.
After that first season, in order to get renewed, they had to spice it up a little bit. So now they have 3 or 4 guys in each show,
Repossessing planes. Yeah.
and they try to do it clandestinely.
Yeah. Okay.
Sneaking over a fence, breaking into an airport,
do they-
misrepresenting themselves, and then grabbing hold of it and quickly getting away with the thing.
Because that's sexier.
They
Well,
actually
yeah, that
grab-
makes a better television show. But the fact are, when they eventually do get caught by law enforcement or something goes wrong, there is a red folder. It has all the documentation. Take a look at it. It's a legal repossession.
All right.
And if they just walk through the front door of the FBO, said, I have this paperwork, take a look at it. I'm legally empowered to go and take possession of that airplane right now. And if you're a good citizen, you will not alert anyone who can stop me.
All right, Romeo.
Yeah, I was just going to say I didn't even realize.
Plus, they could walk in with a police officer who'd be duty bound to be sure they weren't stopped.
I didn't-
So that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
But the sexiness of going and swiping the airplane out from underneath the
how many
deadbeat debtors.
How many of these planes are repossessed every year? Very few,
I
I'm
don't
sure. and these are private planes, obviously. They're,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, not always private,
737s.
private
Mostly,
enough.
Yeah. And they literally fly them away when they take them, like when
Do they, or they
Yeah, they
Uh,
take them to a holding. When you take possession of it,
yeah.
there's a sticker and everything you put near the door and you say
Yeah.
it's repossessed. Now it's illegal for them to get in there and take the plane,
Okay.
the debtor. Once that is affixed near the doorway, it's illegal for them to go back in the plane. So, but they, the person or the organization, we'll just say the bank that hires them wants the plane driven to a facility that's convenient to them to be checked out and perhaps resold. And so they need a ferry permit to get from wherever it was repossessed back to the airport that the bank wants it to be at.
All right. Interesting stuff. All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program, 766-1240, for comments and questions.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON Radio.
All right, it's Coffee and here on ON Radio. This is Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and Romeo Berthum. And just one more thing on the whole moonshiner thing. I said this has to be done for TV. So a couple of the moonshiners were at a real bar, having a couple of beers, and in walked some guy and just placed a piece of equipment between them. Didn't say a word and walked out. Now they just said, well, that was a federal agent who gave us a piece of this equipment that was like a pump. And he goes, now what this is not illegal. And making it's not illegal. But what he is was he's showing us that he has found our operation and has destroyed it.
Okay.
I said this is all flash for TV, I
I'm
think.
sure.
so oh well. But I found it interesting.
I think that guy could have been an actor.
Usually, any credible law enforcement agency will find the owner of the property and have them on scene while they
destroy
take
it?
possession.
Oh, okay.
And then the equipment will be destroyed. That is, if it can be boxed up and put in a truck. Then it will be taken off-site to a place where it'll be destroyed. That's the boring reality of it all. Doesn't make good TV.
No, that's
you got to
right.
see Carrie Nation with a hatchet.
Yeah.
You know.
And they also showed they had to go find.
That's
like,
how she got
old-
the name. They were temperance
Yeah.
people, a whole lot more worse than she was. But she had the hatchet, and she did it right in front of everybody.
They had to go find old stills as well because when they made stills way back, they made it out of copper.
The 20s, yeah.
Back when it was 50 cents a pound or whatever it cost. He goes, now these things are like gold. We got to go find them so we can sell the copper back and make a ton of money back. So, of course, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So Romeo, I saw this this morning. I mentioned it to Dave, and it's what would you do in this situation? I'm coming into the station. I'm driving 495 north. It's early in the morning. Dark out, sun hasn't come up yet. Lights are on every car except for one. There's a car driving down the highway. He is in front of me, or she's in front of me. No lights on.
What would you do? What would I do?
What should you do? Do you call 911 to say, hey, there's a... No, I got no make, I got no model because I can't see it. I can only say this is where I am
Yeah.
before I get off. I said, well, I'm getting off. I'd be getting off the highway onto 95, but this car's going north on 495. Plainville, Rentham, Foxborough area.
Yeah.
If you want to go check them out, but I was stumped. I go, do you call 911 in this scenario? Would you call 911 in that scenario?
I would just keep driving.
You
I
would?
would ignore it.
All right, Dave's the best citizen of us all.
What's that?
Well, he'd call 911.
I've had those
Really?
kinds of situations
Really?
before, yeah.
Isn't it kind of radical to call 911 because a car
No.
doesn't have their lights on? Come on.
he's
No,
a
because
safety
it-
hazard.
right. And to me,
So what do they do?
maybe they can do nothing, Romeo, but you're certain that you contributed to them doing nothing if you didn't tell them what you saw.
But if
That's
you-
my point. I mean, I was driving up 146 in Lincoln, and I saw a truck going south, and a mattress was piled up on top of other stuff, The wind caught it just right, pulled it right off the top of the truck,
That's a little different.
and it was in the roadway. So I called, and I said, I just observed a mattress coming off a truck. The truck had lettering on it. It said 1-800-JUNK on it.
Okay.
And I said, and it was heading south on 146. We were in Lincoln at the time, because I called the Lincoln police. And I said, I'm continuing to travel north because I have to be somewhere. Want you to know there's a mattress in the roadway.
What was
And
their response, Dave?
they said, thank you very much for calling. And that was it. And they don't have to do any more than that.
No.
So now the police are advised. I mean, if you see suspicious activity in your neighborhood, you would call the cops and say, hey, suspicious activity in the neighborhood. It may mean nothing, but that's up to you guys to decide.
Yeah.
But being a citizen, I'm alarmed by the behavior. So I'm saying to myself, if I don't tell you, I'm part of the problem.
Okay. Well, I was part of the
Well,
problem this morning because I didn't call.
You didn't call either.
No.
Okay, well, I think a mattress flying out of a vehicle on a major highway is a lot more dangerous than a car without lights. That's just my opinion.
Well,
I don't know, 'cause-
you could have discussion about that.
Yeah.
Because
Depends on how dark it is outside.
And this was dark because I was driving and didn't see the car until
So
the brake lights
I'm
came
trying
on.
to figure out how you got down, how you got to work if you went 495 north from your house. I caught you on that one.
No.
It was actually 495 south, wasn't it?
No, it's 495 north to get to 95 south.
Is it?
From yes,
Yeah, I
and
know.
you've done it too.
Yeah, I know which way you go. Yeah.
So, but because after they take the brake lights off
Yeah.
and they go away, now you can't see the car
Yeah.
until a truck came up and lit up the car. I'm like, he doesn't have his lights on. I'm like, oh boy. So now I'm trying to keep the car in front of me. I don't want to pass it. I don't want it behind me.
Right.
I have a much better view of it if
Yeah.
it's in front of me.
I was just gonna
But
say.
then it kept going north,
Yeah.
and so I got on the 95 south. So it's just one of those things.
Well,
that
no, it's a personal choice.
I've
Now,
noticed, yeah.
if it's not safe to make a phone call, then don't make the phone call.
well, yeah.
You could pull over, I suppose, but that'll impede your progress somewhat.
What I told Dave before.
You're not going to be
once-
called as a witness for anything. It's
Oh, I
just-
know.
You're trying to give them the benefit of your eyes.
The deal in, I'm sure in Rhode Island, but in Massachusetts as well, because I've called 911. The first thing they ask is, well, what city do you want? Because I'm calling from a cell phone, and my cell phone is actually located. I guess the cell tower or where it originated from is Hopkinton. When I got it way back.
Yeah.
So, but I'm nowhere near it. I'm nowhere near Hopkinton.
Yeah.
So what do you want? I'm like, I guess I could say state police. State police, please. Okay.
Well, I never called 911. I called the actual police
The actual police department?
Yeah, because it's not that kind of an emergency.
Did you see people swerving out of the way to miss the mattress, though?
Well, I was going the opposite direction,
Oh,
so I didn't
okay.
have view of it long enough to see the drama that may have ensued afterwards.
Okay. All right, moving on to other things to bring up. So pretty cool that these two graduate students at URI in the Marine Geological Lab found a giant shark
No, they
tooth.
received. They're the ones that are publicizing it. I was. That's
didn't
Dr.
find
Bob
it?
Ballard's ship, the
Oh.
Nautilus,
Yes.
which, as you know, I sailed with for over 5 years some time ago, and so we remember when those types of things happen aboard ship, and then they get packed up and sent back to the States, and eventually, of course, they're going to end up at URI because that's where Dr. Ballard is professor. And and then we've also been at URI when the things arrive. So it wasn't a big surprise. We knew about it, and I visit the website every now and then to see what's going on with the explorers there, and it was all over the website. So it wasn't a big news to me, but it is to the rest of Rhode Island to see a mastodon tooth, Romeo.
A megalodon.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. I said megalodon. I said it
Yes.
wrong.
Truth. Yeah.
Because there's some people that say that these things are just mythical creatures and they never existed.
Yeah, I'm
These
sure.
are supposed to be, I don't know, 100-foot long sharks.
Yeah.
Back
Megalodon tooth.
Stone Age. Yeah.
Wow.
So
And
makes
where did they
it's
find it?
west of Hawaii. They
West.
found it off an island
Johnston
called Johnston Island.
Really?
So
Wow.
that's west of Hawaii, and so they found it. They found it there.
Yeah, the Nautilus, Bob Ballard's ship,
Yeah.
is now centered around the Hawaiian Islands. We knew that was because you have to do these things years and years ahead. When I was still working with him, he says we're going to start working our way first to the West Coast. I was with him then, and then from the West Coast, he says we're going to head out toward Hawaii because there's more to explore out there.
So he's not looking for anything in particular. He's just to see what's out there. Just to
Well,
see
that's
what's to
not
discover?
exactly true. It's a mix.
Okay.
Yeah, you choose an area based on what you think you might find, which is based on records, historical data, and geographic features where things are likely to happen, sometimes just on hearsay. Mm-hmm. And then you go out there, and if you're encouraged by what you're finding so far, then you get more specific about what you want to find and
Okay.
go looking specifically for that. For instance, back in the 80s, when Dr. Ballard did discover the wreck of the Titanic, he was out on a mission before that under contract from the government, and they were just searching for a sunken U.S. submarine, which he was able to find based on the data, because the military keeps pretty good data. He was able to find sooner than later. I don't know if the numbers are correct, but just for the sake of the explanation, they gave him 10 days to find it. He found it in 7. So he still had the money to explore for 3 more days. And he said to himself, I've been wanting to go over here and
Let's
check
go
this
take
out.
a look.
And then he found it. He did. He found the Titanic that way because he was in the neighborhood on another job and like that. But many, many times, Joe, and this gives you an idea of the way that Dr. Ballard's mind works. Very impressive man when you meet him. But he is not only brilliant, but he's just really common sense. Mm-hmm. For instance, do you know how he found all those shipwrecks in the Mediterranean and all the amphora and, the things that are left over, the crockery pots, and how we found all the shipwrecks in the Mediterranean?
How?
The same way he found other shipwrecks. If the ship in question that you were looking for, or if you're looking to find ships at all, you stick to routes that the ships would go. Right, Romeo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? If a ship was going from here to there, it would generally go in pretty much a straight line.
Yeah.
You could say that just fine. Where would the shipping routes be? He would go down to the bottom and look for garbage.
Yeah. And look for a trail.
Because the ships
almost.
would always dump the garbage overside.
Right.
So when you went and found a line of refuse going from one place to another, you knew you were in a shipping lane, and if you followed that,
You're on the right trail.
you would find the shipwrecks.
Okay.
And that's common. I always admired that common sense activity that he had there.
Now, when you worked with him, Dave, since he's out looking in the West Coast, did he ever mention that he'd try to find the Amelia Earhart's airplane?
It's come up where he's been asked.
And what's his response? Does he think it's doable? The
Well,
Pacific Ocean is so
The
huge.
time I witnessed it, they asked, "Are you planning on looking for that?" He says, "Well, right now, not now.
Okay.
We have these other things, these other discoveries that we are looking to make. We have scientific funding for these things." And he reminds everybody that, it's not all about what I want to go out and look for.
Yeah.
Is what will somebody pay me to go out and
Go and
look
look
for?
for.
Because that boat costs $22,000 a day to operate.
Okay.
And I would think, too, that a discovery like that would probably be accidental. You know what I mean? While they're looking for something else, they find
Well, no, it's always a
Yeah.
mix, Romeo.
Yeah.
It's always a
Yeah.
mix. And believe me,
Yeah.
if you ever found it, you might not know you found it.
Yeah.
Because he's found wrecks of airplanes
Yeah.
in the Mediterranean near Greek islands, if I recall, and one in particular out in the Mediterranean, pretty far away from the ocean, but it had turned out to be a fighter aircraft propeller from the Italian Air Force, vintage World War II. And if you looked at the pictures of that thing, you say to yourself, "That's an airplane?" Huge holes, nothing
Yeah.
that really resembled a rudder, or really not very difficult to tell.
Well, I would think too that at the bottom of the Mediterranean, if they could just drain it for one day, they would find thousands of shipwrecks over the centuries.
course, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the Atlantic too.
All right.
Well, especially that, but Mediterranean was a really important, still is part of,
Yeah, had the front
European
row seat to
commerce.
the whole war.
Sure, of course
Yeah.
they did.
All right, break time here on Coffee and time for the forecast, which is being brought to you by the Connecticut Department of Administrative
Salute
Services.
when you say that, Joe.
Sunny skies today with a high of 44 degrees. Tonight, clear, overnight low of 24. Tuesday's weather increasingly cloudy with a high of 44. Tuesday night, rain and a mix with snow overnight. Overnight low of 33 degrees, 80% chance of rain and snow Tuesday night. Wednesday, just rain, 90% chance, and a high of 48 degrees. Thursday, mostly sunny and 45. Friday, sunshine and 44. Saturday, sunshine and 41. And Sunday, mostly sunny skies with a high for the day of 42.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street with sunny skies, we have 39 degrees. The Connecticut Department of Administrative Services is hiring for healthcare and direct support. Visit ct.gov/CT State Jobs. That's ct.gov/CT State Jobs for more information. During a time of loss, families face many challenges. Baraducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center can help alleviate some of the stress and help you create the perfect service for your loved one. A locally owned, family-operated funeral home that has been serving the community for over a century, Baraducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center have an affordable boutique-style funeral home at 185 Spring Street, Woonsocket. Prices are all-inclusive with no hidden charges. You can complete your arrangements online at providencecremation.com. Baraducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 751-5000. 751-5000. It is their honor to serve you. From the amazing world-famous sandwiches to the incredible specials, Kay's Restaurant is the perfect go-to location to catch up with family and friends. Enjoy the beautiful dining room as you relax in the comfortable atmosphere. During this holiday season, a Kay's Restaurant gift card will always be an appreciative gift. Be sure to go to Kay's Restaurant Facebook page to see the latest specials. Kay's Restaurant on the corner of Mendon Road and Cass Avenue in Socket. Remember, kaysrestaurant.com. The reindeer games begin Monday, November 28th on ON, AM, and FM. Reindeer games.
2
begin
weeks from
How about
today,
that?
Joe.
So I'm gearing up. Gonna ride the horses.
Okay. The reindeer,
A week,
Ride the
a week
reindeers.
Friday, Dave.
Yeah.
Friday. Only 2 weeks from today.
All right. So here on Coffee and Joe Callahan with Romeo Berthium and Dave Richards, and not good news. Shooting at the University of Virginia, Romeo.
Yeah. Heard that this morning. I guess it happened last night around 10:30.
Yeah.
Parking garage.
At a parking garage on campus, 3 killed, 2 wounded, and they're still looking
A former
for the shooter.
Yeah, former football player. I'm
At the
trying to
university.
find it. Yeah, according to
That's
have
who they're
a
looking
suspect.
for.
Yeah, they do.
And no classes at the University of Virginia today. They called it off because they're still looking for this guy down there.
Yeah, his name is Jones. Last name, I don't know. First name is, I'm trying to.
Roman said he looked it up. He was on the team in 2019.
Yeah, he,
But as what happens, I mean, there's like 100 kids on the team.
Never
20
played.
play. He
Yeah.
never played.
his name is Christopher Darnell Jones
Okay.
Jr. And why are they looking for him?
Why are they looking for him?
How do they know it's him? Well, I think you made a good point off the air that maybe one of the wounded victims knew him, or maybe he
Maybe.
made threats. We don't know. This is still going this morning. In fact, the whole city of Charlottesville, Virginia, is on lockdown right now because he's armed and dangerous.
These are still around
He's
somewhere.
already killed 3 people with the intention of killing more, and I think I'd be a little nervous, but it's too bad. Charlottesville's a nice town, nice college town, a lot of history there.
Have you been to the University of Virginia?
Yes, I have.
Yeah?
I have friends that graduated from there, and I also have a friend that lives there,
Okay.
and yeah, so I hope they catch him quick. Crazy.
Well, let's hope so. And you can always go, well, maybe they have, and they just haven't let the rest
Yeah.
of us know yet.
Well,
that tends to happen.
No, I think they.
Oh, yeah,
might.
we caught him at
Yeah.
9 this morning.
Yeah.
Well, it's not 9 yet, but, you know.
Well, So that's kind of sad.
It is, and it makes you wonder why, of course, that you would do something like this. Is it because his football career has ended and nothing else is on the horizon, or what? Or is he just
Yeah.
angry at somebody else? We don't know just yet. So,
Yeah.
but that's what's going on down there in Virginia. So things are getting crazy in the social media world, if they're not already crazy enough there.
Yeah, who's the congressman from
Ed Markey.
Massachusetts? Yeah, he's upset about something.
He's our congressman.
Yes, he
Ed-
is. He's a senator,
Ed,
actually, right? He used to be a
Senator,
congressman.
yeah. Senator Ed Markey.
Right.
He's outraged. I am
Yeah.
outraged. He's pounding the table. He's so mad.
Yeah. That's something-
Because after a reporter with the Washington Post created a verified Twitter account in his name. This happened quite a bit over the last couple of weeks.
he paid $8
yeah,
to get a red
yeah.
to get a red check mark.
Yeah, to say that he was Ed Markey when he really wasn't. So there's that guy, and then there's the whole the FCC commissioner wants to take down TikTok in the U.S. TikTok is what's used a lot by the real younger crowd.
Yep.
My daughter loves watching TikTok videos.
Hi, Candy.
She doesn't make any, at least not that I know of, but she
Hi, Candy.
watches a lot of it. Yeah, and that's it. But
It's an amusement.
it is. But I don't see where the big ugliness is happening. You know, when he wants the FCC commissioner Brendan Carr has referred to TikTok as China's digital fentanyl. He said
Yeah.
this on Fox News over the weekend.
I heard that.
So I don't know what he's upset about. All you see is usually dancing cats or something on this. I don't know what the big deal is. Did he go any further, Romeo? Or
You're
why
talking
he's-
about the, Senator Markey?
No. This is
Yep.
back to the FCC
Oh,
commissioner
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
about why TikTok is
I don't-
so bad.
I don't know. I think it's just the way social media is going today, and I think I heard the same thing, that they want to make it illegal in the U.S.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would violate the First Amendment.
Well, is it that TikTok started in China? Is that?
I believe so.
Okay. I think if you ban it, there'll be a big social uprise.
Absolutely. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Social media,
Of
social
upset
uprising.
high school and college kids who use it continuously, and maybe that's what they mean. You're on it too much.
How did we?
Is that the fentanyl part?
I just
Yeah.
want to know.
Addicted.
You're addicted to it.
I'm a
Yeah.
couple of years older than you guys, but how did the generation's pretty close? How did we survive without all this stuff when we were growing up?
We went outside.
I
You
mean,
went
really?
outside. You got on a
You went
bicycle.
visiting relatives.
Yeah.
Um, you rode around until it got dark.
What's a relative? Yeah.
And then in more recent times, you would watch the opiate of televisions.
Yeah.
Which they thought would be
The
a
death of
corrupting
everything, yeah.
influence,
Yeah.
which it has not. And this younger generation, they don't watch a lot of TV. Not like, well, they do on their phones, but not like we did.
But they watch it on their terms. They don't,
Everything's
it's
on
not like
demand.
us.
Everything's on demand now.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
not like, it's Wednesday night at 9. You had to turn on
No.
Beretta. There we go. Because that's when it was on, I think. I'm trying to remember.
Could be.
Now it's, my daughter's watching, she watches the bizarrest shows. Orange is the New Black.
I've seen that.
But
Yeah.
she'll watch it, and then she'll watch like 4 or 5 episodes in a row.
Yeah, she'll binge watch.
She'll binge watch,
That's
yeah,
what they do
and
now.
that's what they do. And that's how they get caught up. And so it's not. I never heard her say, "Oh, it's Tuesday at 8. I have to watch this." That's just not the way it's done anymore.
No, you're right. Absolutely right. I can remember. Do you guys remember when Roots premiered on TV back in the 70s?
Well, barely,
Yeah.
yes.
I do.
That was a Sunday night, I think, right, Dave?
ABC.
There you go. You got the network and everything. I can remember we used to get so excited about getting ready to watch. The whole family would sit down and watch that. And we'd make sure everything was ready, before bedtime, and because my kids are growing up.
Yeah.
And it was kind of nice, Now you're right. You can watch it anytime you want. And
So they do it different now. I think it's there's a
Yeah.
spot. There's a
Yeah.
promo. I think
Yeah.
it's for Xfinity.
Okay.
or it could be for Cox, I'm not sure, where they have the whole family gathered around on the couch.
Yeah.
And then it looks like what looks like the grandfather, has the remote in hand and
Yeah.
says, "Oh, are we all here?" And well, now we have to wait for the dog to come, and the dog jumps on, and everybody loves the dog. And then he speaks into the remote,
Yeah.
because it's voice activated.
Yeah.
Okay, play the Discovery Channel or something that he wants to see. Then, so that's the new way of doing it. We gather the family around together, and we'll watch whatever we want to watch when we're ready.
Yeah, it's like
Which
this.
is-
Yeah,
Which is okay. I guess you can do it that way. Can't do it with sports though. That's kind of difficult. I still do it where it's 1 o'clock on Sunday. I know a game is starting.
you can tape the game and watch it.
You
later,
can do that.
provided
Yeah.
nobody calls you and you keep away from your phone to see what's going on. Yeah,
I've
Yeah.
called I've called siblings like
have.
during a Patriots game.
yeah,
And of course they know it's you calling
Yeah.
on your phone, and the first
Yeah.
they don't even say hello. The first thing they say is, "I'm taping the Patriots game. Don't say anything about it."
okay.
Then they say,
That's good.
"Hey, how's it going?" And then you have to mediate your voice, Dave. You can't be
Yeah.
too excited, and you can't be too low, or else they'll pick up on it.
And then sometimes during the conversation they'll say, "And by the way, how are they doing?"
No,
No,
my
they don't.
brothers are pretty
Yeah.
good at.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is it. I can't. They don't want to know anything, and so because they're going to watch it at a later time. And I remember this with my older brother one time. Do you remember? This was years ago, before TV, before you could.
For TV.
Well, before DVRs and things
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
it was the boxing match between Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson.
I remember those days.
When Mike Tyson was biting his ears.
I remember that one.
Okay. Now, I was at a friend's house who had bought it on pay-per-view, so I saw it happen live. And so the next day, I called my older brother and just said, "Oh, by the way, did you see the fight last night?" And he said, "No." He said, "Don't tell me about it," because a friend of his taped it on VHS. All right, but he wasn't going to be able to deliver the tape to him until the following weekend. This was a Monday.
jeez.
He wasn't going to see it until the next coming Saturday. And I said,
No.
Bill, okay, fine, but I'm going to tell you this. If you don't want to know anything that happened, right? Okay. He said, yes. I said, okay, for the next week, you can't talk to anybody. You can't listen to the radio. You can't read a newspaper. You can't watch television.
It's like you're a juror being sequestered.
That you have been sequestered.
Yeah,
You can't do anything because of what happened last night.
Otherwise, you're going to get an earful.
Yeah, that's right. There's no way you're going to be able to start. You can't go to the grocery store. You're going to have to hold up in your house for the entire week. He finally said, okay, you have to tell me what happened.
Okay.
And so I did. And then he agreed with me. He said, you're right. I would never have been able to go the whole week and not have heard
Yeah.
or seen
Yeah.
what had happened. So, but that, that happens sometimes.
Unless he lived in a cave.
Well, he wasn't planning to. He ran his own business.
Maybe a man
he had to call out the clients.
Yeah.
I said that I'm telling you, Bill, they're just going to tell you what has happened or what their version of it that happened. I said, there's no way you're going to be able to get around it. And he said, yeah, you're right. I get that's.
But you really have to be a fanatic, which is the word fan comes from that word. Mm-hmm. When it comes to wanting to hold back on something like a fight, and don't tell me a thing about it. I mean, that's come on, give me a break. It's
Well, a lot of people are like that.
I know they're fanatics.
It's the
They're
same thing when it
fans.
comes to the
Yeah.
football games and
Yeah.
baseball games.
Yeah.
Nope, I couldn't see it live when it happened. I'm gonna jump
Yeah.
in an hour later
I have
and then start watching it. So,
I have a friend who lives in England who tapes all the Patriots games and he watches them later.
yeah, because
Because he works, and plus they
He's six-
broadcast.
they're 6
they
hours ahead of us,
yeah,
right?
and they broadcast later. But he works during the actual games, so
Okay.
he tapes them. And he, like this person you were talking about, when we talk, don't tell us how they did.
Yeah.
I'm watching the game tomorrow night.
I got it planned.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of the Patriots, did you see Tom Brady is the answer to another new trivia question?
No.
First quarterback to win a game in 4 different countries.
Interesting. Can
There's
you
only
name
one-
those? Can you name those countries?
Yeah, United States,
Yeah.
Mexico, England, Germany. They just
Oh.
won on Sunday in Germany.
All right.
They
were,
beat
yeah,
beat
you're right.
Seattle.
They were in Germany. Right?
Yep, he's the only quarterback, only player, you say, who has won on 4 different. an NFL game in 4 different countries.
That sounds like a Final Jeopardy question
I'm sure it'll come up in about a year or so.
in 2 or 3 years from
You
now.
could use that, Dave, when you're talking to friends today.
Okay.
They'll be incredibly impressed.
Yeah, I bet they will, especially coming from me.
All right, more Coffee Ants coming up. Please stay tuned.
Entering its 16th year, Missy's Family Restaurant is happy to deliver free Thanksgiving meals to the high rises in Woonsocket on the day before Thanksgiving. The food delivered will be cold, so you can heat it up to your desired temperature at the time you want to eat on Thanksgiving. You need to sign up in the high rises for the meal to be delivered, and you need to sign up by November 18th by 4 p.m. Missy's Family Restaurant will be serving guests on Thanksgiving from noon to 3 p.m. If you have any questions, contact Judy at Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street, Woonsocket. I'm so upset at myself. The summer has come and gone, and I have not contacted Lance at Interstate Seal Coating to come take a look at my driveway. If you're like me and you put this off all summer, you have to call Interstate Seal Coating now before the real cold weather sets in.
Remember, when you want the job done right, from seal coating and crack filling to parking lot striping, it's Interstate Seal Coating at the sign of the seal. 349-9360. Call Lance today and he'll seal you tomorrow. All estimates are free.
You're invited to the second annual Holly Jolly Christmas Bazaar at St. Joseph's Church in the Good Shepherd School Gym, Saturday, November 19th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get some Christmas shopping done by browsing the flea market with handmade craft baskets and other assorted baskets. The Holly Jolly Christmas Bazaar will also have a fresh baked goods table, a kids craft corner, raffle baskets, money tree, yard sale items, and Santa's attic. And speaking of Santa, take your picture with Santa Claus from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The second annual Holly Jolly Christmas Bazaar from St. Joseph's Church in the Good Shepherd School Gym, 1210 Menden Road, Woonsocket, Saturday, November 19th, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please stop by. Coffee In here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards. Romeo Berthum is here as well.
Yes.
And the oldest living American is in Iowa.
Yeah.
And she just celebrated her 115th.
115?
115's birthday.
Wow.
She
Another
is-
year she can drive a car again.
Yeah, that's right. Hendricks, her name is Bessie Hendricks. She was born in 1907. And in her lifetime, she has seen 21 presidents, 2 world wars, and even the sinking of the Titanic.
Wow.
She rang in the milestone birthday last week with her family. Hendricks is also the 4th oldest person in the world. There is a woman in France. She is 118.
118.
Doesn't say.
She can vote.
I bet they don't.
I know.
Well,
You'd be,
you
you'd
never-
be surprised.
you never know.
Yeah.
If they do, you just don't know if they can still. Obviously, they're still functioning.
That's, yeah.
But has the hearing stopped? Has the eyesight stopped?
How about the
at this
mind? Is the
age?
mind good?
It does. Well, it doesn't say.
Yeah.
If she says, "Oh yeah, and they always ask people that live a long life, what's the secret? Well, the secret of life is drinking a lot of water and petting your dog, or things like that.
And most of them will tell you, especially when they get to be, let's say, 100. I never thought I was going to get this old. They say that even when they're 80.
Yeah.
When I was 25, I thought 60 was old. Now I'm 100. Yeah.
60 wasn't so old.
Most people don't. I mean, think they're going to live that long. And when they do, well, it surprises them. And if it's a quality of life, well, yeah, go for it. But if it's not a quality of life after a certain age, it's time to check out. I hate to say it, but, that's the way I feel.
But how do you do it if you're 115?
You don't.
You don't. You
But
just-
that's
you just
an
wait.
anomaly. That's an anomaly.
Right.
That doesn't happen too often. But good for her.
Yeah.
And it gives us all hope. And maybe we all live long lives, but those long lives sometimes can be very burdensome. It all depends on how you feel.
All right, now
physically
Dave.
and mentally.
Dave, thank you. Speaking of the Titanic,
Yeah.
and Romeo, you're the
Yeah.
history teacher here. So there's an upcoming auction, and it's offering people a chance to bid on some pieces of history.
Okay.
All right. The event at Heritage Auctions, which is in Dallas, Texas, will feature items such as JFK's rocking chair, Jack Ruby's wallet.
Oh,
That
wow.
would be pretty cool to have.
Is it full or empty?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's empty.
Yeah.
And a deck chair from the Titanic. Several other JFK items will also be auctioned, including letters and notes he wrote and a typewriter
Kennedy used to compose speeches. Didn't he have a speechwriter?
What, probably before he was president, maybe when
Okay.
he was a senator or a
Now-
congressman.
Jack Ruby's wallet contains business cards, traffic tickets,
Oh, it is full.
receipts, and clippings from the strip bar he owned.
Okay.
Bidding starts on December 1st, either online, by phone, or in person.
Oh.
Would you like to have pieces of history like that?
I'd like to have them, but I would never
Yeah.
buy them. I think
No?
I think you can bet your life people are going to be bidding lots of money for that rocking chair.
Now, Dave, how would the
I would
deck
never-
chair from the Titanic, which Bob Ballard found,
Yeah.
get to this auction house in Dallas, Texas, that people could bid on?
Oh,
Any-
that's
any
easy.
idea?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
easy. That's part of the Bob Ballard story that I think I've mentioned before, but I'll give you a encapsulated edition again. The from the you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't department. Dr. Ballard found the Titanic, the wreck of the Titanic, and registered it internationally. Dr. Ballard did not disturb anything on or about the wreck of the Titanic because Dr. Ballard believed very strongly it's a graveyard. Don't go messing around in graveyards. And so he left the area and registered it as a wreck. Had he removed even one item from the wreck and brought it up topside with himself, he would have owned it by international law.
All right.
But he didn't disturb anything out of respect to those who died. Of course, then come the catcalls from all the explorers and ne'er-do-wells in the world saying, what a idiot. What a
I could
dummy.
make a ton of money. Yeah.
He very well could have funded his explorations for many, many, many decades to come with what he could have gotten from that, but he didn't. I spoke to him about that, and he explained it very, very well. And he gets very, very serious when he talks about it. He says, you got to be what you got to be, Dave, and that's it. He says, I just couldn't bring myself to disturb this graveyard. And so I didn't, he says, and I've paid the consequences for it. He said, and the worst part about it is the second guessing yourself. You knew you did the right thing when you did it. And after that, when all the carnival, he called it carnival people, come in to grab something to make a quick buck with, they did far worse than I would have done if I had taken one thing. And then they couldn't have touched it legally.
Yeah.
But I left it so that they could rip it bare like jackals.
So someone else comes in, dives down, grabs a deck chair.
Yeah, and
Brings
worse,
it up, and then
he
sells
said,
it to
he
the
said, and
auction
worse than
house.
that, I told them where it was so they could go do it.
Well, right, yeah. Here it is. We found it.
So he says, you second guess, he said, you second guess yourself. He says, but I knew I did the right thing when I did it. These other people have to live with what they did.
Yep.
I can live with what I did.
All right. I don't think I'd want a deck chair from the Titanic.
Dave, I just have a question. When he discovered the Titanic, was he on a mission to discover the Titanic?
No.
Okay. That's what that makes a big difference.
No, I mentioned he was just finishing up
Yeah.
another mission
Yeah.
that he did
Yeah.
for the government. Had to do with a government submarine.
Okay.
He said, we don't talk about what happened. He said,
No.
because, again, it was very, very serious, very, very sad stuff. And he said, we got done before the time allotted, and we're close enough. So I said, let's go here.
Okay.
And in short order, he discovered the wreck.
The reason I ask
He
is-
actually was not looking at the screen when they found it, for the first evidence, that is.
Wow.
Because I think they found the debris field before they found
Yeah,
the actual
they
wreck
did.
of the ship that you see pictures of. He was actually in his bunk making his reports for the day,
Yeah.
and they came and got him.
But I would imagine if he would have been on a mission to discover the Titanic, with federal funding and all, he would have been required not to touch anything, I'm sure. Yeah, but since it was an
Well, it was
accident-
never discussed that way, but that could
Yeah.
have been, but
Yeah.
he never said that in front of me.
So basically, the discovery of the Titanic was accidental, kind of. He wasn't looking for it. It just happened.
No, there wasn't any accident to it if you listen to him tell the tale.
Well,
You know,
He had a
there's
pretty good idea where
there
it
was
might
there was
be.
a lot of math to it.
Yeah.
yeah.
A
But I mean,
lot
This
of
is where
math.
it should be.
Okay, so he was looking for it then.
Yeah.
After the other
Well,
mission.
yeah,
I
he
have
was
a few
looking
days.
for it.
Yeah.
He was in the area with exploration equipment
Okay,
because of another job that he got.
that's okay.
Okay. And we have a note that's been called in, 766-1240, as we're coming to the end of the program. It just says, caller says, how about those Boston Bruins?
How about them?
13-2, 9-0 at home. Best start in franchise history at home.
Yeah.
I thought it was since the 1930s, or is that
Nope,
the day before?
The win last night put them over.
Over
Uh,
the 1930s.
The start at the start of the season at home at the Garden at 9-0.
And the Celtics just won their sixth in a row too,
Yeah,
didn't they?
so both teams are playing extremely well, and Bruins are using their a backup goaltender.
The cool thing about the
Swayman is
Bruins
hurt,
is
and,
they're
they've
using
brought some-
everybody.
20 people have scored a goal.
It's not just
I'm
the
like,
name
wow.
players. Everybody gets a taste of the puck.
And a couple of guys have gotten their first goal. One's first goal ever, and one just got the last night. Nosek it's his first goal in 315 games or something like that. So it was empty netter, but it's goals, goals, goals.
Well, it's good to see that a Boston team is doing well.
They're both doing very well. So
Yes, they
it's,
are. Celtics are doing okay too.
And it's funny that the ex-coach of the Boston Bruins, who was in Vegas, they're like 12-3. They're basically neck and neck right now.
That's
So
ironic.
to
Yeah.
watch, it
Yeah.
would be amazing if the Stanley Cup Finals were between the Boston Bruins and the Vegas Golden
yeah,
Knights.
it could be. It would be interesting. as well.
Between the new coach and the old coach.
Yeah,
That would be something. I'd pay money to see that.
you would, huh? All right.
You and several thousand others.
So and it's tickets are not cheap to see the Bruins in Boston, and they
No.
they are sold out every single game.
Yeah,
I mean you're paying
yeah.
$200 for a seat, and you're at the top of the building. You're up there with the
The view's
radio.
better up
people.
there,
The
Joe.
view is pretty good up there. You're way up there.
Yeah, yeah.
With
Not like the
those-
old Boston Garden. Had loge seats, and you had to lean over a wall to see the whole ice sheet.
And I had those seats to see a Celtics game, and you had to look down to try to look up again to see the backboard, see the rim. All right, things you can't buy when you're drunk. Okay, police in Arizona say they discovered an owl, the bird, in the passenger seat of a vehicle pulled over for a DUI. This happened in Payson, Arizona. Officers from the town of Payson found the bird of prey riding shotgun, and the driver explained that he bought the bird at a gas station that was in a town northeast of Phoenix. The man was later taken into custody for DUI, possession of methamphetamines, and possession of wildlife.
I think it was just being a wise guy.
I wonder how much he paid for the owl. The owl was reportedly later picked up by the Arizona Game and Fish Department and will be treated for some minor injuries and probably then re-released.
Seatbelt rash.
Back into the wild. If this
Was
just
he doing
sitting-
it to get through the HOV lanes?
It doesn't say.
Oh, could be.
If they were if he's just sitting in the seat, it just makes you think that there's a problem with one of his wings and can't fly, or else he'd be flying around the car, trying to find its way out. But I'm glad to hear they're minor injuries. And why would you want to buy an owl? They're not,
That's a good
they're
question.
not incredibly friendly birds.
No.
And unless they've seen Harry Potter too long, by the way, Dave. Today's the debut of the first Harry Potter film. Made its debut 20 years ago on this day.
Wow.
And in the book and in the movies, the kids all have owls as pets. You didn't read the book, did you?
Because they're wise and they're old, yeah.
Well, it's actually used. The writer, pretty smart, came up with, we're going to use owls as the mail service. So if you have a letter that you need to send to somebody far away or anywhere you want it to go, you write it down, you tie it up, you give it to the bird, and then you tell the bird where it goes. And then it just takes off and it delivers the message.
Cool.
Same thing when it comes back. You get a message for you. Here comes the bird. And
That's
it
realistic.
just drops you off. Well, it's a fantasy book, so things like that happen. All right. Well, that'll do it for the Coffee and program for today. We thank you for listening in, as always, and let's go Bruins. All right. Dave Richards, thanks for coming in today.
Been great being here with you, Joe, and with Romeo, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning.
Very good. Romeo, thanks for coming in.
Always a pleasure. And just a quick plug.
Yes.
The annual Milk Fund Appeal begins shortly, and we'll be starting our auction a week from Friday here in ON.
Wow.
And the auction committee is always looking for donations of either cash or objects to auction up. Give us a call here at ON. Mail it in at 985 Park Avenue here in the city.
Very good. Thanks, Romeo. This is Joe Callahan. Have yourself a fantastic day. And stay tuned for Leslie Page with At the Library. And then it's Food First with Karen Zangari next on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. The Providence Place Mall officials are asking the City Council for a second 20-year tax treaty.